Hello everybody, it's Nym and welcome back to my channel. This is actually the first video I'm recording since my awful, terrible water damage in my home. The last two videos you saw are actually still pre-recorded, but I didn't have internet so I couldn't upload them. But here I am, live again, making a video for you guys. And we are at part 3 of our zoo of Little Italy, the Casalogna Zoo. And today we are starting the deer habitat, and we are also building a little bit of a food court, and then after that we are going to build a Italian cathedral or church. Which, you know, it is an old-fashioned Italian village, so you're just gonna have to have that, and I actually really enjoy building it. I don't know if I've said this before because I don't really remember all the voiceovers I did. I know, awful, but who remembers that, right? And I like talking, so you're just gonna hear it again. Oops, I dropped something. Anyways, I never really built buildings. You can see it from most of my zoos. They're really landscaped zoos and natural. Not a lot of buildings. That's because I suck at building buildings. I'm not good at it. I know I'm not good at it, but then here there was this contest by Channel 5 Gaming. By the way, not sponsored by them, but go check them out because they actually have a really amazing channel. Mostly Planet Coaster, but right now there is the contest for which this zoo is as well. And they're actually showcasing some of them, so I don't think mine has come up yet, at least not by the time I'm recording this. Perhaps in the meanwhile, but I don't think so. So, you know, go check that out. It's always fun. And it really forced me to actually build buildings because I'm not good at that. I'm really not. It's way out of my comfort zone. But as you can see, like those little, well, not little, like the old farm that I built back there. Look, there it is in the back. I actually think that I built that pretty well, and it really looks, you know, a little bit rustic, European, although that's not really a style, it's more of a continent, but whatever. Like really Italian farm, and I really think I nailed it. Obviously I had some reference pictures, which if you ever use reference pictures, don't feel bad about it, like best builders use it. Just because building with a reference picture is easy, because then you know what you're building towards and you have a little bit of a fallback when you don't know it anymore. There are very few creators that I know that just build out of the top of their head. I mean, like, sure, little buildings like this, yes, I built them out of the top of my head. But even for that massive church, I had an example, or like, not an example, I had like some inspirational images, like I just googled old Italian churches, but we're gonna go in that in a minute, like not now. Right now we are building a habitat, well, and the shelter for our deer that came with the European pack. I believe it's the Felon deer. It's just deer, okay? It's just a deer. The only deers in the game, so. And with that enclosure, well, not enclosure, what is it called? Shelter being done, we are now building a little bit of a food court because, you know, it is an Italian village that is transformed into a zoo. So you're gonna have some, you know, buildings where people actually still live, and then the downstairs is the shop, and then above people live. I feel like that was like really, you know, the way that it goes, and I really am really proud of that, and I really like the way that I did it. And it's been so long since I've did a voiceover that I've completely forgotten what to talk about. And this is very awkward, like really awkward. So I'm just gonna talk about myself, which I usually do anyways. Like, you know, like the speed builds on my channel is more like podcast story time. And I don't apologize for that. If you don't like it, mute me and watch it without video or watch it without sound. Anyways, look, right now, obviously, I'm back home again. Yay! And at the moment, I'm just redecorating my entire home, which is a lot of work because I have a lot of stuff and it's quite a big home. Not wanting to brag, but it is reasonably large. And I have a lot of stuff. Like, I'm a hoarder. Let's just get it out there. I hoard stuff. I like hoarding. I can't throw away things because I'm like, oh, I maybe need this in the future for one of my projects. Because I do a lot of, I'm a tailor as well. I make clothes. I make clothes for Comic-Con. I'm like, yeah, I could probably use this for cosplay. So I better save it. And then the one time that I actually did throw something away, I ended up needing it. So now I don't throw anything away. I don't. Which is awful. And it needs to stop. Like, it needs to stop. I can't. Is anyone else like that? Like, anyone in the comments can relate? Please let me know. Let me know it's not just me. I mean, being a hoarder, and I'm not those TLC hoarders people. Like, I'm not buried in mountains of stuff yet. And I don't have like a route from my front door over a pile of garbage and stuff like that. But if I don't pay attention, it could be coming to that. And I really don't want that. That'd be awful. So, gotta be a little bit tidy. But actually, I feel I like cleaning more than I thought I would. I always imagined that I would hate cleaning, and it was like, oh, well, I'm probably never gonna clean. I'm just gonna hire someone to clean my house for me. And actually moved out, and I'm like, well, you know what? Actually, I really like cleaning. And it's really surprising because I never did. But, scrubbing the toilet and scrubbing the tub and vacuum cleaning, it makes me happy. And that's really weird, and I know, but it makes me happy. And at the same time, I do hoard a lot of stuff, but my house is clean. Like, there's a lot of stuff, but it's always clean, and that's important. And right now, I'm doing like a very large amount of laundry, because everything, when I had to move away because of the unsafety in the house through all the water damage and the high humidity. Like, usually the humidity in your house has to be below 80 to be livable. Mine was 300, so yeah. It wasn't safe for me to stay here, so I had to leave, and I just went, I need to carry a lot of clothes, so I just got all the clothes that I could and stuffed them into suitcases. Obviously the worst color combinations, but whatever, it happened, it's done. But yeah, now I need to put all those clothes in the laundry. And that takes time. I mean, laundry takes time, and I don't like doing laundry. I like cleaning, but laundry, it's awful because I can never remember how many degrees every like item of clothing needs to be. Like, I know towels can go on 90 degrees if you have like no socks or underwear in them, but if you have socks and underwear mixed with them, they have to be at 60. Stuff like that. And I don't know for anything else. Like, I should really write it down, because now I'm just guessing. I'm just like, well, I hope it doesn't shrink in the laundry. That'd be awful. Though I think clothing more... Does it shrink in the washer or in the dryer? Because I don't have a dryer. Because that's expensive, man. Like, the amount of electricity a dryer takes, I'm not paying for that. I have a lot of doors in my house. I just put laundry racks on those and I dry it like that. Oh well, okay, I should really go back to the build, because look at how beautiful this is. Like, this green building with this green plant and the purple wisteria mixed with it, and then some wine plants, rakes, I don't know how to call them. I forgot every word. This is awful. And like grapes hanging from there, and then we're going to this little building and making that green as well. I love doing that. I feel like it's going a little bit back to my roots of being good-natured. You can see the train in the back as well. Let's ignore that for now. That's gonna be, I think, in the next video, and otherwise the video after that, the train station. That was annoying to build, but we're not gonna go there now. We're gonna wait until for that story for another time. I am so over the place. I'm really all over the place. I am so sorry. This is like the worst voiceover ever. And I should probably do this again and like re-record it. But I'm not going to. I mean, it's me, it's pure, it's real. I feel like a lot of YouTubers probably have that. Sometimes the voiceover, it just doesn't work. But that's fine. Like, no big deal. Now we're gonna build this little cute square home that's on a diagonal. And actually, oops. Don't know what happened there. And we're actually gonna transform this little house into a toilet, because the toilet stalls there in the greenhouse with a lot of like with all the plants on there as well. But I felt like, you know what, it should probably be here as well, because I don't really have a lot of toilets in this zoo, and that's probably not such a good thing. At first I was like, yeah, gift shop, and I was like, no, I already have 2 gift shop, I need more toilets. Guests are complaining that there are no toilets. We need toilets. So there we are, we're building a toilet, and then we're actually gonna decorate this house really, really cute. And I feel like it's so cute. It's like really country Italian, and I've never actually been to the country in Italian. I've been to Italy I went to Rome like in 2019. Last time I traveled. Well, that's not true. I went to Germany in 2020. But it's the last time I didn't go to Germany, because I go to Germany a lot. I went to Rome and it was really amazing. I actually used some of the pictures that I took in Rome to match the architecture. I was like, well, let's go through my pictures in Rome. Let's see what it all says. Look, now we are building the church. And I gotta be honest, while I was building this church, I had Hellfire from the Hunchback of the Notre Dame. I had it on repeat, and not because that also is obviously, it's in the Notre Dame in Paris, but I felt the vibe. I was like, yes, I feel this vibe. This is the correct vibe. We're gonna do this. And I actually think it looks really great. Obviously, it doesn't look like much. So I always have this when I'm building a building in Planet Zoo. I'm just like, yeah, I hope this is gonna work. And then usually it doesn't. So this was my first idea for having like a clock tower. And then I realized, no, wait, it needs to be like square. So we're extending it with one. And I actually really like the way that it looks. And, it still looks, I love it. I love it so much. Just placing blocks, sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me. Like I go way too fast, but I managed in the end. And you have like all these different styles. I'm like, I'm wondering, what should I do? I want to have like this little archway where like monks could go up to and walk. And I don't know what else monks do. Probably, I don't think they pray there, but they just stand there and look onto the world. I feel like something like that. Now, the worst thing here is the roof. The roof was really awful. I tried a lot of roofs. I cut that out, but I tried a lot of roofs and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. It needs to be perfect. And in the end, I actually came up with this. And I feel like it kind of works. Especially when we are now, in a minute, we are going to place two little circles on top of each other and make like a little tower or bump out, sort of like, with a roof. And in the end, I feel like it really works together. Like right now, it looks awful. I'm well aware of that. It looks pretty flat, but there's gonna be a lot of, details in there. And that's why I think the European pack really comes into good use. It's so detailed, especially for the build that I wanted to make. And I've had this idea for like, I won't say a few years, but like a few months. I was like, you know what? I really would like to build like a European small town that got transformed into a zoo. And then we got the European pack and I was like, well, this is my chance. And then this contest came and I'm like, well, this is my chance. I'm gonna do that. So here we are, we obviously have those normal archways, but I wanted them to make a little bit more fancier because, Italian churches are really fancy because, they're Catholic. And Catholics have a lot of embellishments and embroiderings and all those big stuff in the churches. And then you have Protestants, and they're like more mellowed. Like doesn't need to be decorated. It's about God, not about the decorations. And the Catholic Church is more like, it's also about God, but you need to have like a lot of decorations so that people can actually see. And that used to be from the fact that the only people that could read were like the high class. So like rich people, kings, monks. Those people could read. Perhaps knights. But like the baker and the butcher, they couldn't read. So how are they going to read the Bible? They couldn't. So how are you going to bring them into the church? By decorations that tell Bible stories. So that's why Catholic churches are really big embroidered and, fancy. And then the more north you go, especially in the Netherlands, the more north you go, the less fancy, I don't want to say fancy, but the less decorated it is. And that's all to do with the fact that, what's his name? Johannes Calvijn. I don't know his name in English, but I think it's just Calvijn, I'm not sure. Anyway, he was like this really big dude in like 1700s. And he had this idea that in order to serve God, you had to be sober and you don't need a lot of stuff. Like you don't need any of the nonsense, just, wear black and be humble. So a lot of the churches in the north of the Netherlands are really bare actually. It's just like the building and then there are benches inside and that's it. No paintings, no nothing. At least the churches I've been through. Obviously there are exceptions. But generally speaking, that is the case in the north of the Netherlands. In the south of the Netherlands, you actually see a lot more fancy churches. Not like this. I feel like churches like this, you only see like perhaps in Germany, France, Italy. In Italy, I saw a lot of these churches. I love them. I genuinely like churches and I like going to churches. They make me feel pleasant. So I'm building a church of my own. It's just like, yes. And at first I had this idea to just build it as kind of a facade so that you couldn't interact with it. And then I thought, wait, this church is going to be part of a habitat. And it's going to be part of a pedophile habitat. So I opened up the actual inside. In a minute I'm gonna do that, I believe. First we're placing windows. But we're actually gonna open up the downstairs and then we are going to make sure that there can actually go I said pedophiles, didn't I? I meant flamingos. We already have pedophiles. No, we're gonna make it into habitats for the flamingos. So we're gonna make sure that the flamingos can go in there. And it actually looks nice. And I'm actually really happy with it. Look, there's the opening. And there's gonna be a pathway next to it. So you as a guest can actually see into the church. And I was thinking about lowering the ceiling. And then I was like, well, you know what? Who's gonna see that? Probably not a lot of people. So whatever. I'm not gonna do that. Just don't tell anyone, okay? Just shh, our little secrets. You know, and here's when I really had the idea, like, yeah, it's gonna be flamingos. So let's finish up embroidering this church and making it look fancy. And I'm actually really happy that the way that this looks, I feel like it's really... That's why I left it all in. Like, usually I wouldn't do that, but this time I was like, well, you know what? Yes, it is a lot of decorating and stuff, but I feel like it just looks so good and I'm so happy with it. And I'm really proud of this. This is like my masterpiece of this entire zoo. Like, to be honest, the rest of the zoo is not going to be as amazing as this. Well, there is going to be a grand Italian mansion, so, you know, perhaps it's going to be something equal as good, but nothing like really, really as big as this. And I felt like this was really, really cool, and I really like this. Especially with all the layers in the clock tower. Well, I almost said it in Dutch back then. What? Let's not do that. Let's not do a voiceover in Dutch, because you guys wouldn't be able to understand. And just looking back at this, I'm just like amazed with how good it actually looks. And I know that sounds really arrogant, and I don't mean it like that, but you know, you definitely recognize it as a church and not just as a weird building. I mean, like the toilet building next to it, you're just like, oh yeah, it says toilet, so I know it's a toilet building. But I feel like this building actually looks really good, and I'm really proud with the way that it looks. And on top of the church, well, behind the church, there's going to be a restaurant, so you know, that's pretty cool as well. I'm really happy with that. And then there's the entrance for the staff, and we're just gonna lay some roads down to connect it to the other side of the park. Yes, there we go. Just, you know, so it's connected, and we're connecting it there as well. So in the end, this entire zoo is like almost in circular motion, and I really like that. And we are gonna go back to this church in another video, because it's not quite done, but otherwise the video would get way too long. But we're actually gonna make another level on the church, because when all the trees and vegetation was there, I was like, there is something missing. I feel like it's a little bit short, and I asked advice to some of my friends. They were like, yeah, you're gonna probably need to make the clock tower a little bit taller to make it really stand out there, because, you know, the clock tower is like, or like the tower of the church is like a very big deal, especially in ancient Italy, I wanted to say. Wow, in Italian history, actually in all European countries, the church was like a really big thing. So I wanted to make it here as a really big thing as well. And I've been talking about the church for almost like 15 minutes now. What? See, I'm passionate about it, just like it's in real life. And looking back at it with all the trees, you can really see how it's taking shape, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so happy with it. And in a minute, after we've done these floral decorations, we are actually going to zoom in a little bit on the fountains thing, you know, with the water that's cleansing out of there. And we're going to hide it in rock so that it looks more natural. Because that's like, I know I wanted to innovate myself building this zoo, but I went back to my roots in the end, like building natural things just with detailed buildings in between. And I actually think it looks really good. I mean, once we place these trees down, will you look at this view? And then we're gonna place some rocks down there as well, just to make it look nice and homey and comfortable, just like a real rock wall would be. And we are actually getting close to the end of this video. Whoa! Anyways, guys, here we are making this fountain thing a little bit nicer. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you saw past me rambling and being awkward. And I hope you actually have a very good day. Maybe you had a good day and you're watching this in the evening. Maybe you're watching this at the beginning of your day. Anyways, I hope it's good and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you on the next video as well. It will be coming out in a week. We are also kinda going to start with zoo tours soon again. And I hope to see you all for that. And remember, if you have any suggestions or ideas for zoos to build, future zoos, tips on this, maybe you see something like, whoa, why did you do that? Please let me know in the comments down below. I always like tips and tricks. I love learning and I love getting to know you guys as well. So just comment down below and I will see you on the next episode. Bye guys!